When we want to talk about all things tech, we head over to this guy. Mitch Joel is with us, tech advisor, investor, author of CTRL ALT Delete. Mitch, welcome back to the program.
Always great to be here. Thanks for having me, Elias.
Big story in the world of tech is what's happening when it comes to video generation. Now, OpenAI has this tool called Sora, and the family of Martin Luther King Jr. last week went after OpenAI for this tool. Why don't you tell our listeners here, first things first, tell us about what Sora is and why it has seemingly opened up a Pandora's box.
Yeah, so Sora is an evolving technology of generative AI text to video. And that's the most important thing to realize, which is you don't need to have any video editing skills. You don't need to actually have a camera or shoot anything. You can simply type in what you want it to appear, and it will create video and audio and everything in studio quality just based off of your text prompt. So I could say, for example, let's create a short 30-second clip of Elias Makos and I speaking live in the studio at CJD, and it would create an actual video of that. Now, when I say that, people might think, well, like, is it a cartoon? Is it real? No, it can actually take, if it has the biometrics of us, images, videos from other places, and recreate it. Now, again, you might say, well, I've seen a lot of CGI and things like that, and it's not always perfect. This technology is getting very, very good. In fact, I'd argue that if you've seen some of these videos on TikTok or Instagram, where it almost looks like someone shooting a selfie, it could be Jesus or a woolly mammoth, it looks really real. The technology is pretty good.
And with historical figures, and in the case of Martin Luther King Jr., you have a guy that, the I Have a Dream speech, right? That video, everyone has seen that video. That video is probably in the library that all of these artificial intelligence tools are using. So as you say, text to video. So if I type in, create a video that's the I Have a Dream speech, but make it into a commercial for Mountain Dew, you could basically turn Martin Luther King Jr. into making an ad for Mountain Dew as if it was that video. That's what you could do. That's how powerful it is.
Or have him wrestling Malcolm X with profanities and racial slurs flying in the background, which you could also do.
And which was done. Which was done.
That's what I'm saying, which was also done, which you could also have it, give it a certain texture or feel to make it look like it's from a certain time zone in terms of picture quality and video quality, all of that filtering also able to be done, and it's being done.
So you have the family of Martin Luther King Jr. saying, hey, knock it off, OpenAI. Don't let this happen. And OpenAI says, okay, yeah, we're gonna make sure our tools can no longer generate video of Martin Luther King Jr. But I say, if that's not right, it's not right for it to make video of us, Mitch. It's not right for it to make a fake video of Elias Makos or Mitch Joel or anyone. So, speaking of Pandora boxes here, how do you justify saying, okay, well, we won't make video of these people, but everyone else is fair game? Either we're all fair game or we're not.
It's not just that. You have Robin Williams' daughter saying the same thing, because that is being done. Bob Ross, Stephen Hawking's, it's on and on and on. It's been an endless parade. And I admit, sometimes I get caught and laugh when you see Stephen Hawking's in an Ultimate Fighting Championship with Bob Ross or Mr. Rogers, which I've literally seen. And I think the challenge is pretty obvious, and yet how do we fix this? Which is apparently Sora, owned by OpenAI, same owners of ChatGPT, are actually requiring copyright holders, believe it or not, to opt out of their content's use, which is very much a reversal of the typical approach.
Not opt in, opt out.
Creators, where typically you have to agree to it versus opt out to it. And so the legality of this is even debatable, not according to me. I am no legal expert, but according to all of the articles, Variety Magazine and beyond, that we're seeing this. And this is a very contentious space. We're seeing it not just obviously in people we know and recognize. The other week, there was Tilly Norwood, who is apparently the next Hollywood sensation, which is essentially an AI actress that's
fake, all fake.
And being created.
This is an AI-generated actress.
Yeah, and it's a very strange thing, because we also have to pause and say, look, we're not emotionally attached to CGI characters, but we kind of are. Think about Pixar, think about Jar Jar Binks, think about Yoda. We get emotionally attached to non-heart human created human things all the time.
But they were human created. All of those, they came out of a human who put pen to paper, wrote a script on a computer, and created that character.
Well, someone's creating this Tilly Norwood character as well. Just that her looks look very human
Mm-hmm.
versus what makes these characters emote to us. It's the fact that they have human emotions or characteristics. These are the kind of blurrier, stranger
Yeah.
parts of what we're having to deal with in a world where, unfortunately, whether it's images, text, or video, I'd argue even audio, we are probably in the believe nothing phase, which
So,
is very scary.
so this is what I want to get to, because when these tools come out and you see the examples, like, I haven't seen one myself, but I imagine if I saw two historical figures and it looked like it was a 1980s WWF match and they're fighting each other, I imagine I would have a good laugh over it. Oh, that's pretty cute. But if my social media turns into we've used this term before, AI slop, artificial intelligence slop, if every video is garbage, 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 and when I say garbage, I mean all of this, the same vein of made up stuff, um, I think there's going to be massive pushback. I think there's going to be massive pushback if that happens.
Well, this goes back to the line I constantly use, which is the market is brutal. Instagram, TikTok will not be able to survive or thrive or evolve if that happens. And so, in this strange world where we were so worried about social media platforms and what they're doing with our information and data, they might be the gatekeepers that help us thrive in this, because they might say we have to throttle this content. It's not engaging. People don't like it, or people do like it now, so we amplify it now. There's a bit of hype, and then you get tired of it, as we do with every meme or
So
video
what do
that
you?
we see.
So this is the great question. Do you think people are going to get tired of it, or the fact that there are so many possible outcomes because you literally can create anything? Does that mean that people won't ever get sick of it and it's not stoppable?
So culturally, what we see is that people get tired of everything.
Mm.
But the second part of your question is the most important. If you're not following that trend, but constantly using it to create others and different iterations and different types of content, very challenging. I'll give you a very simplistic example, which might remove the emotion from this. I get up on my stages and I give my presentations and I have slides. And in those slides, what I use is typically stock video in the background just to create some motion and ideas. And typically I go to a site and buy stock video and do all this.
Uh-huh.
Well, now I don't need to do that. I can just pop in and give it a style. So there's a whole bunch of other ways that we can think about how interesting it could be or how powerful it could be to use it for branding for our company, for our organization. But what does that do to the people who are creating stock video, who shoot video, who do this,
Yeah.
who do this editing? In every disruption, we have this massive disruption. And that's the scary part to me, in particular, this when it comes to arts and creativity. The best stuff will rise to the top. I'm very confident in that and humanity. But the amount and the ways and the nuance you can do it, because it's so easy, cheap, if not free to do,
Yeah.
I think it creates this perilous moment where, to me, the problem really is, what can we believe?
Two notes from our listeners as we talk. One writes, Mitch, the only solution is to turn it all off. Take a walk, look at the trees, count the leaves. And then another person says, I'm already tired of it, and I assume everything is fake now. Mitch, I may have said this once to you before. I think all of this AI stuff and AI slop, if it's everywhere, it may lead to actually a golden age of a magazine, a newspaper. Like, what's old could become new again if that's where you have to go to avoid the slop. Mitch, you be well. We'll talk soon.
I love it. Thanks, Elias. I agree.
Mitch Joel, tech advisor, investor, and author of CTRL ALT Delete. When we return on this program, hey, you know what? I teased it before. We've made some upgrades to our studio here. I'm going to tell you all about it. Could lead to some really, really fun things happening at CJAD. We'll tackle that and more upon our return. We do traffic, though, right here, right now. It's 11:48. Oh, and I have a note for Gary at the Costco. By the way, Gary, if you're listening, you better hold up, okay? Don't turn off that radio, Gary. It's coming up next as well. From the CJAD 800 Traffic Center, let's head over to Lauren Glazer.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years. And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.